Imagine you're confronted by someone you might perceive as a bigot. Perhaps they refer to your group as you people. Perhaps they talk about the criminality that allegedly runs rampant throughout your group, or the laziness of your group, or whatever the stereotype might be. What do you do? My name is Daryl Davis, and I've encountered people far more bigoted than what I just described. Klan members, neo-Nazis, and all sorts of white power skinheads. When most people encounter a hateful person, depending upon the level of that hate, their reaction could range from ignoring the perpetrator to going into survival mode, to being hateful right back. People believe if a tiger doesn't change his stripes, if a leopard doesn't change his spots, why would a Klansman change his robe and hood? But over the course of my life, I've learned that even the most bigoted people can change. I would know, because by embracing those who have treated me with racism, I've watched over 200 Klan members and other hate group members leave their organizations in direct response to developing a friendship with me. There are 5 universal principles I apply to these situations. Everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be respected. Everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants to be treated fairly. And everyone wants the same thing for their family as we want for ours. In 1990, I met a Ku Klux Klan leader in the state of Maryland. A few times encountering a person like this, I've had a knife pulled on me. But when I met this Klan leader, he was willing to have a conversation. He told me that black people were innately prone to crime, and that black people are inherently lazy, preferring welfare to work. That black people had smaller brains than white people. I listened to the man, and when he finished speaking, I expressed my disagreement, but not before listening first. I wanted to better understand his racism. Why would I respect a Klan member like this? Even though I found what this Klan leader had to say offensive, I respected his right to express his views. When you show somebody respect, there is a good chance they will respect you back. And I allowed this Klan leader to be heard, where many others would shut him down or cancel him. Because I listened to him, he felt I treated him fairly, which slightly lowered his racist wall, allowing him to reciprocate and then listen to me. Had I verbally attacked him instead, he wouldn't have heard a word I had to say. By listening, respecting, treating him fairly, for the first time, I created a situation where the Klan leader was willing to reflect on the ideas I had to offer. But I didn't stop at one conversation. I called the Klan leader up and invited him to lunch. He was shocked. A black man had never done that before, but he agreed. We were eating mozzarella sticks out of the same basket, using the same salt shaker and ketchup. We talked about racism, but not the whole time. We also talked about movies and music. I play blues. He liked country. I taught him how much those two genres shared in common, similar chord structures, similar themes, and the fact that the father of country music, Hank Williams Sr., learned to play guitar from a black blues street guitarist named Rufus T-Tot Payne. He had never experienced being social with someone of another color. He still hated me, but a bond was created by breaking bread together. This lunch allowed him to begin to humanize me, to focus more on what we had in common than what made us different, and vice versa. I didn't like what he stood for, but I found him more agreeable as a human being than I would have expected. I was able to see beyond his hateful views to a person formed by their prior life experiences. I learned that he never had the life experiences that I did. I traveled all over the world and met all types of people he had not, and he was surrounded by racism. I realized that if I had shared his life experiences, I might have turned out the same way. I continued to ask the Klan leader to get together. I invited him to go on errands with me that I had up in his area. I invited him to my home and more. Over the course of months, we continued to get to know each other better and better. At one point, his nephew was severely injured while driving heavy machinery, entering into a vegetative state. I drove up to the hospital. The family was hurting, and I did what I could to help. They appreciated that. I would have felt the same way had they done the same for me. Despite our differences, that experience taught him that others want the same thing for their families as he wanted for his. All of the human race, no matter their skin color, shares this. At this stage, it began to become clear that we had so much more in common than what divided us. It took a while, but by this point we had developed some trust. And so rather than me asking him about his racism to better understand it, he started asking me questions about my opinions to better understand my experiences, not all of which were necessarily about racism at all. The Klan leader asked me what an HOV lane was. Was the government spying on people in that lane? I explained what a high occupancy vehicle was. He asked me what his Klan chapter should name their bus. I suggested Tri Kappa. He considered my suggestion just as seriously as he considered any of his Klan members, although he ended up choosing Special K, which resulted in a cease and desist order from Kellogg's. It sounds small, but this represented a monumental shift in his thinking. Previously, he had always looked down on me as I was a black man who couldn't possibly know as much as him. But now he was starting to reassess my level of intelligence, beginning to consider me a person with innate value, at least enough to have an opinion or knowledge that could matter. Each time I could provide information that enhanced his life, his trust and his benevolence deepened. But I was just a lone black man. This didn't change his views on others who were not white. So I started to introduce him to more black people who shared my beliefs, so he would understand that I was not an exception. I took him to visit Howard University, the historically black university where I went to school, introducing him to the masses of educated black people. One day, the Klan leader invited me out to dinner. When I got there, he told me he was going to quit the Klan. He told me this before he told any of his Klan members. And not only that, he was going to dissolve his entire faction of the Klan, which covered 13 states. Following dinner, he gave me his Klan robe and hood. He sent both me and the NAACP letters of apology. This was 7 years after we met. His change was slow, but he's been Klan-free for 24 years. He and I remain friends to this day. This was the first time I watched a hate group leader give up their bigotry, thanks to knowing me. I was shocked. But now I've repeated that process dozens of times with dozens of bigots. It doesn't surprise me anymore when they change. It only takes one person to build a better world. You can be that person. The Klan leader might have gone his whole life as a bigot if I hadn't provided him the opportunity to get to know me. If I had been less patient, only meeting with him once or twice, rather than genuinely trying to become his friend. He may also have never changed. And he too changed the world, causing many others to follow in his footsteps. And they in turn have brought change to the world as well. If we love our adversaries, then we are willing to hear them. If we hear them, we demonstrate our respect for their right to their views, however misguided. If we respect their rights, then we can treat them and their families fairly. In doing so, they often reciprocate fairness by hearing us. If they truly hear us, then they open the door to change. You can't solve hate with more hate. A missed opportunity for dialogue is a missed opportunity for conflict resolution. You can be part of resolving the conflict in this nation. Join me in building a pro-human future at fairforall.org.